Okay, everybody, this is my spoiler review of Pluribus, Episode 3. Make sure after my review to check out my interview with the one and only Rhea Seehorn. We talk about what's gone on in the show so far. It's really interesting stuff. She breaks down Carol in a really interesting way, and it's a fun time, so make sure to hit that. The link will be below. Now, jumping into the episode, this episode was actually written and directed by Gordon Smith, who did 2 episodes directing-wise of Better Call Saul. He's been with Gilligan since Breaking Bad, so it's no surprise here that he's working on Pluribus as well, so it's good to see he's a part of the team. Now, the episode opens with a flashback. This is 2,617 days before the happy bug takes over. We see it's Carol and Helen in this Norway ice hotel. They're in a room that's 3 degrees below zero, a bed made of ice. Perfect situation, right, for someone like Carol, who is a Scrooge character, to be put on a vacation in a place like this. But you see that Helen is someone who loves the experiences. But Helen at one point even says to Carol, "Come on, this is completely your bag. You love feeling bad." But you see Carol, we're watching, can't even appreciate the northern lights being the view of their room. She's thinking about how her book is doing. And you're also seeing here, to me, that Carol, it's revealed her favorite color is purple, because we know the purple sand from her book was a big part. She's wearing a purple scarf here. There's a purple tint in the room, and Helen even points out to Carol when the sky turns completely purple. Talking about motifs with colors, that will probably be important. But what's also important about this scene is later in the episode, you will see that Carol, when she's thinking about what life could be like as part of the happiness glue and happy things you could experience, this comes up, this memory. So it is a happy memory for her. It's something she has not forgotten. And it's showing you about her character that even in those moments where she's feeling Scroogey about things, deep down she is in heaven and having a great experience with Helen. There's just layers to this character of Carol. And it's making you learn more about Carol in the sense of she's a character that does love feeling bad. There's a part of her that is attracted to it. It's not just happening naturally all the time. Now let's go forward to present day. We're at 3 days and 3 hours since the happy glue has completely taken over. Carol and Zosa are on the plane together. You see that they actually have real pilots now because of the hysterical moment from the first episode that spooked Carol with having the TGI Fridays worker flying the plane. But Carol wants to know about now the non-English speakers that are in her situation. And the important one that is mentioned is the one that they found out about later, which is Manusos. Now, when you look at the casting for this show, there's only 3 top-to-build actors. That's Rhea Seehorn, Karolina, Wydra, and another character we haven't really met yet, played by a man, so I'm guessing this is Manusos. So he is going to be important, and the connection right there he already has with Carol is that they were the 2 that were resisting the happiness glue. So that makes Carol want to talk to him. She calls him, but he doesn't want to be bothered, so then she calls him again and curses him out. So it's a rough start for them, but you're also seeing Manusos is a lot like Carol, we can see already in his extreme responses. So I feel like there will be a lot of similarities between these 2 characters, and he'll become a bigger part as the season goes on. Now, when they get back to Carol's house, Zosa gives Carol this mail that was in transit to her that she never received yet, and there's an important package there that was from Helen. This, we learned, was Helen getting her massager that she liked at an airport that Carol thought was too expensive. It was going to be a big gift for the end of the book tour that was stressing her out. But this pisses off Carol because Carol does not like Zosa using Helen's thoughts in any way. She says only I get to remember her, only me, and doesn't want Zosa using her ever again. So you're seeing more and more as this episode goes, like it was in the previous episodes, that Carol is completely resisting this way of life, the happy glue, and what they're trying to get her to do. And it speaks a lot to, I believe, some themes we're seeing here about maybe you can even call AI, where like there's these easier ways to do things that are coming out, but they're less quality, there's less fulfillment to it. And it's also that McDonaldization theory you learn in sociology about when McDonald's came out and everything became so convenient, you lost a lot of the humanity of things like sitting down and talking to a waiter. So all of those themes I kind of think are here too, and that Carol is someone who resists that easy path that just numbs everything. But Carol cracks out those Golden Girl DVDs. Of course, Betty White has the line here about a smile just being a frown upside down. But you see Zosa drops her a premium breakfast because she's noticed that Carol is low on food in her fridge. Carol first jumps at her and says, "You're still using Helen." But Zosha's like, "No, you had maids prepare your house before you came back." So she knew through the maids' brain that they were running low on food. So what does Carol do? Instead of eating this premium breakfast, she throws it out and she goes to her local grocery store. It is cleared out. She calls Zosha's like, "I'm a very independent person. I don't want you delivering food to my house. Get me my groceries back." So the happy helpers now come to fully restock this store. Takes about 2 hours. So she gets her food the way she wants it, goes back to watch more Golden Girls, but the power goes out. It was really eerie, this shot, seeing the whole city go dark and remembering how much she is in control, but not actually in control. And also that Zosha and this entity of everybody makes mistakes because she calls and she's like, "Oops, we didn't mean for your area of the power to go out doing that." They want to conserve everywhere else. And at night, only essential workers work. I love Zosha throws in this line though, "You donated twice to the Sierra Club, so we thought you would understand." But you see Carol just freaks out even more. She's like, "I'm so happy. There's nothing wrong with me that an effing hand grenade wouldn't fix. You got one of those," because I think that would be the perfect topper for the greatest week in human history. And then Carol, after saying this to Zosha, goes to take the Xanax she's been popping, but instead of taking it with water, this time she's going all in and taking it with vodka. And this is where Zosha will show up with the hand grenade. Zosha says she brought it just in case Carol wasn't being sarcastic. But Carol invites her in for a drink and she brings her grenade in. So we get this important dialogue between Carol and Zosha where Carol's like, "How long till you make me into a worker bee?" Because this is that impending fear that's the doom here for Carol that she's deathly afraid of happening to her. And you see how Zosha's like, "Oh, it could be weeks, months, years," just giving an answer that's not an answer. And she says, "Sorry, Carol, we have a biological imperative. Like, this is not going to change. They are going to eventually do this to Carol when they figure it out." But that's where Carol doesn't understand how they're always saying she has agency and choice, but you're still planning to make me do this. This is where Zosha says back, "If you saw someone drowning, would you throw them a life preserver?" So it's a very cult thing to say to get people into cults that is like, "Hey, but in this case, my way is the right way and you need this. I am making that decision for you." And it's interesting because on the other side of that, Carol threw Zosha the life preserver last episode to stop her from going on the other plane with Kumba. So you're seeing that they both have that instinct, but also that Zosha and the all entity is prone to things that can hurt them, and that we'll see how much Carol will protect them and vice versa. What really sets Carol off here is that when, like I said before, she reflects on what it could be like being part of this happiness glue and thinks about her memory with Helen. Zosha reflects on it too, and she's like, "I told you Helen was off limits." So she takes the hand grenade, pulls the pin thinking there's no way it's real, but it is. So Zosha grabs it and throws it out the window. Zosha collapses outside. So then you see again Carol, like we're talking about, there is a part of her that cares about Zosha. We saw at the end of last episode, and she goes quickly to make sure she's okay here. Now, I love at the hospital, the doctor is a DHL worker, just as funny as having the TGI Fridays worker as the pilot. Carol wants to know, though, if I asked for a hand grenade again, after what just happened, would you give me it? The happy entity says yes to a bazooka, says yes to a tank, but hesitates when she asks about an atom bomb. Probably because this could actually be a threat to wiping out the entity fully. They don't think that Carol with a tank or bazooka would be any threat in that sense, but an atom bomb would. But Carol wants a yes or no answer. The us says ultimately yes, but they wouldn't feel good about it. But they say they would move heaven and earth to make you happy. So there's, again, flaws in their plan too, and there's cracks for pain for them. Remember, they're really sensitive too. Like, it's not this like undefeatable entity. And you see that again with her going on the plane with Kumba. You see that with the thought of them actually giving the possibility to give her an atom bomb because it has to line up with what they're believing about would make her happy, and that would probably ultimately destroy them. And Carol reflects on the possibility of having this atom bomb and what she could actually do here, and does she have this full power and control over them? Who's really in charge here? So it's an interesting concept, and it leaves it on an interesting cliffhanger. However, I'm still not fully engaged in this show yet, and I thought I would be by now, but I think it's okay. I just think that where it's come out now and where we are, it's not that original to me yet. I still feel like I've seen this before in shows like Black Mirror, Twilight Zone, sci-fi shows in general, it's just not gripping me in the way. If it's going to be something a little similar, that it's a little more engaging, and I'm just not feeling that yet. And I know it's supposed to feel empty, but that emptiness feeling's adding to it too, where I'm just kind of waiting for something to really pull me in. I think it's good, but right now I'm still in the disappointment club. But I know, again, this is Vince Gilligan. His things always pay off. We have to see how the picture really unravels, and I'm sure it will get better as it goes. But right now, I'm only going to give this episode about a 7.5, but definitely a huge high ceiling for the show. Again, Ray Seehorn being the lead, Vince Gilligan behind it. It can only go up, but I just want to see what their end game is here, because I just don't see the vision right now at the moment. But I'm not supposed to, right? I'm not the creator of this show, but right now I'm a little worried. But we'll see how it goes. I have faith. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I read every comment, try to respond as many as I can. Hit that sub button to show me one of my reviews of Pluribus. I'm also doing It, Welcome Derry as well. Check out my interview with Ray Seehorn. And please follow me at Steve Varley Show. It helps in so many ways you have no idea. And give me your theories too. I'd really like to read those. Thanks for joining. I'll see you next time.